What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast. On today's episode of First String Podcast, we have the one and only Lou Holder joining us today. He's going to give us a little bit of a Commanders update. We'll figure out who we should be watching and what players we may be sleeping on, overlooking, things like that. We will talk about the NBA Finals. Were we robbed of a different outcome, a possibly a little bit better NBA Finals with the injury to Tariq Halliburton? We also have a homework assignment that Al gave us. So I'm really interested in seeing if Al did his own homework. And we will bring you our all-time NFC offense, our all-time NFC offense. So I look forward to seeing these assignments done. I hope you guys are ready. You know what time it is. Let's go.
It's wartime, baby. This what you signed up for. This what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all gotta go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace them up. It's the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. Lace them up. It's the first string podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the first string podcast show. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting lineup, first string is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cast. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Said from the South, so he rep GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe, go ahead and tune in. Like, subscribe, recommend to a friend. Nah, for real, like, subscribe, and recommend this to a friend. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the first string podcast show.
Welcome back to the First String Podcast. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alert for new content just like this. The most important part, though, is that you tell a friend to tell a friend about First String Podcast. Now, listen, y'all know we usually get started exactly at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, but technology being what it is, it made us wait. Without further ado, let me bring in my first of my co-hosts. We call her HR. Y'all know her as the lady that brings the fines. She's here. Lady A, how are you doing?
I'm well, Pig. How are you?
I'm doing great. Missed you yesterday. You know, by the time you got to me, I was tired. You was tired. I was like, forgot what I wanted to talk to you about. But I'm glad you did reach out and we connected. You know how we always do. This is big little sis right here. She always makes sure I check in. I ain't heard from you in a while. Don't make me come get you. Right. Glad to hear that you're well. Sid and Al are both on the way. You know, real jobs do get in the way of our part-time jobs. Yeah. Of our passion sometimes, right? So that it does happen. But our guest is here. Let's bring in the one and only Lou Holder, the professor. He's got us covered. How are you, sir?
What's up, family? How you doing?
Hey,
We
Lou.
are doing
Hey,
great.
Lady A, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Trying to stay hydrated in this heat up here in
Yes,
the
man.
Northeast.
Yes, and humidity.
He must have been out there playing some golf. Some golf.
No golf in this weather. No.
Well, Lou, you got a little tan though. You've been outside.
I've been outside, but not playing golf. I mean, I had to. There's only. I have a heat wave limit.
Right. We all do. All do. But it is always good to get outside and keep the body moving, even though the weather's
I'm always kissed by the sun.
I like it.
Yes,
I like it.
understood. I like that.
I like it. I like it. I do know that you do enjoy some soccer. Let me ask this question real fast. I know Jamaica is playing today. Jeff put this on my mind earlier. Are you taking a peek at the good game, the glory? What do they call it? The what do they call golf? I'm sorry, not golf, but
It's called the beautiful game.
the beautiful game. The beautiful game. Are you taking a look at the beautiful game?
I always do.
Mm-hmm.
I always
Mm-hmm.
do. I
The
always
beautiful
do.
game.
That's my sport.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
my
Okay.
sport. So I'm so looking forward to next year when the World Cup comes here. So the North American continent is hosting games next year in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And as much as I love professional American football, the international football is my first love. So it's not as popular here in the United States, but worldwide, it's the game. It's the game.
True.
And it falls into the same category sometimes as baseball, and there's not enough scoring in soccer. Like a 1-0 game could be a masterpiece, where people are like 1-0, that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's no puddles, there's no break in the action. You're running and you are expected to perform, accelerate, stop, turn on a dime, run back, run forward, do all that with no breaks. So it's just a very, very, I love the game. I love the game. So I'm West Indian. My mom is from Jamaica. My dad is from Barbados. And soccer and cricket that's all I've ever known. So soccer is what I've done. I went to college, played soccer at Rutgers, and
Mm-hmm.
my teammate is now doing announcing for the games at Lexi Lala. So it's you can never take that ball away from me. I went to see a game. It was Juventus versus Al in the qualifiers for the World Club Cup. They had a couple of games. They have a couple of games at Audi Field here in Washington, D.C. So since Washington, D.C. is not getting any World Cup games because the stadium is whack, that's the closest I'm going to get to see games here. I got to go up to Philly or New York to see some games because Lincoln Financial Field and MetLife Stadium are both having games for this Club Cup and for the World Cup next year. So
Yeah.
a lot of other soccer junkies, that's where we'll be. We'll be in Philly or New York or somewhere watching games because we just love the sport. We just love the sport.
Look at that. We didn't even have that on the rundown, but we got it in
Right.
there. We got it in there.
Lou, I have a question. Did you get the chance to go to the Premier League? It had a summer series here a couple years ago. Did you get a chance to go to that?
I did not. I don't know why I wasn't able to go. There must have been some reason why I wasn't able to go. Anytime soccer comes through here, I try to get there. You mean at FedEx?
Yes.
It was at FedEx?
Yes, it was.
I don't think I went to that one, but I went a couple of, I don't know when it was. The last time I saw a game there was El Salvador and somebody. But they do have some. I didn't go last year, that summer series. I know exactly what you're talking about. I missed those games.
Yeah, I got a chance to go the first year they did it.
Yeah.
To watch Chelsea take on that.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I love it. Love it.
All right. So now that we talked about football, let's talk about football. The Washington Commanders have held their mandatory minicamp a few weeks back. Last NFL minicamps wrapped up last week. And the next time we see the players on the field, it will be training camp. Oh, yeah. Happy early birthday, Lady
Thank
A,
you.
for sure. Happy early birthday. So the next time we get to see players on the field, Lou, who should we be keeping our eyes out for? We know about Jaden. We know about Terry, right? We know about those people. Introduce us to some new folks that we may want to look out for this up and coming Commanders team.
So, well, first of all, I can't start off any conversation about the Commanders without saying that my number one takeaway for this offseason is that we are drama-free in the DMV. For years, I've been covering this team for 22 years. My first year covering this team was Darryl Green's last year covering the team. Steve Spurrier was the head coach. Patrick Ramsey was the draft pick. And every single year it's been drama. There's been some type of drama. At the height of the drama, the FBI was raiding the building. The owner was caught up in a whole bunch of mess. The unbelievable gross negligence and signing people like Albert Hainsworth and Adam Archuleta. And it just was every year there was just some type of drama. And I'm still, Toothpick and Lady A, I'm still getting used to covering football and not foolishness because that's all I've ever had to do. And it's just refreshing, like, wow, this is the way it's supposed to be, like around the league. If the only drama that we are actually talking about this offseason is Deebo Samuel's overweight and is Terry McLaurin going to get re-signed, well, sign me up for that little mini drama every single day of the week, because I'd rather have that than is your owner skimming off the top of other owners. Is a federal agency raiding your building, right?
Right.
All kind of stuff like that. There's none of that. It's just football related issues, and that is so refreshing. So I have to start off with that because I don't want that to be understated that this is cool. This is actually cool to be covering football and not having to feel that there's some type of dumb foolishness on the other way around. So you don't see that. You don't see that. The issues that we are experiencing now are issues that most NFL teams that are teams are actually, dealing with. So it's been a pleasant people who cover the team, people who cheer for the team itself. It's just good to not have this cloud of just dark over the team. I mean, this team is must-see TV, and it's there. They're playing on 3 different time zones. They're playing on Monday night, Christmas, Thursday, Saturday.
Look, let me break it, Luke. We don't care nothing about that. Week 4, y'all going down. We don't care nothing about that, but week 4, y'all going down. Y'all taking a beat down in ATL.
Well, it's good to see you too, sir.
Right.
It's good to see you too. Way to be on time. Way to be on time. And way to come in and just start yapping. Why don't you greet me first? Hi, Sam.
How you doing, Luke? How you doing, Luke?
Good. Good to see you, brother.
Y'all still losing in week 4.
Why do you and Lady A have the same backdrop? Who had it first?
I borrowed it.
Said needs to get out of my living room.
Wow. Why the same piano said, really? You could play the piano?
Lou, only you, Lou.
Okay.
I need to fire my interior designer.
We're going down in week 4. That's what
said.
Hold on. That's what the piano man says. Oh, right. Now he changes.
There we go.
Now he changes.
There we go.
I just feel that I'm glad that we don't have any drama.
Right.
This team, the NFL has wanted the NFC East to be relevant for so long, and now every team is relevant. I don't care what you say. The Giants with Russell Wilson now, they are actually must-see TV. Like what are they going to do for better or for worse? So much so that the whole division is going to be on Hard Knocks later on in the year, right? And they saved it to the end. There's no mid-season, whatever. They saved it to the tasty part of the end where all these teams are going to be hopefully gutting it out. I mean, it is the best division in football. The Lombardis back that up. There's 11 of them in the case for that division, and it's just good to have all of that going on. But to back to your original question, Pick, there are some people that I am actually really, really interested in seeing. One of them at the top of the list, because we knew that he was brought here for not last year, but this year, is I'm so looking forward to seeing a healthy Marshawn Lattimore do his thing. A lot of people have been lukewarm, like, yeah, he this and that. And I mean, the man was playing hurt. Imagine you coming into a college or a high school in the middle of the school year and trying to learn everything. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. And I don't know too many corners who wouldn't have struggled with Mike Evans and Brown from the Eagles in the playoffs. I mean, those are two of the top wide receivers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks good out there. He changed his number. He just looks like, and we talked to him, he just looks like he is ready to go. And I'm not saying that he's Champ Bailey. I never said that. But if he can have any type of measurable success on shutting down half of the field, that gives Mikey Sanderstill and Quan Martin and Trey Amos and all of those people a better chance of success. So I'm looking forward to seeing a very, very healthy Marshawn Lattimore. Other people that I'm looking forward to see, a lot of them are on defense, because this defense is still a question mark for me. And I'll get to that, but Mikey Sanderstill, he's a star. He's a Pro Bowler waiting to happen. I mean, he was the captain of that defense for that John Harbaugh natty for Michigan, and what Harbaugh started, Dan Quinn and Joe Witt is taking over, and he just seems to be so comfortable. The game has slowed down for him, and I just feel that he is a star waiting to happen. And I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm also looking forward to seeing Jordan McGee. We didn't get a chance to see Jordan McGee because he got hurt, but he is that heir apparent for me. He's learning under one of the best, Bobby Wagner. And I think, to me, I don't really get into this edge rushing fantasy that people like, you got to have an edge rusher. You didn't address the edge. I mean, I don't. The Philadelphia Eagles got to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl without no edge. They sacked him 6 times, rushing right up the middle. So if you don't have an edge rusher, create your own. And I think what's going to happen, I'm just going to go out there on a whim. I'm not the defensive coordinator, but I think what's going to happen is that Jordan McGee is going to make it so Frankie Louvu, the wild Samoan, is going to be jumping off the top rope, and he's going to be your edge rusher in a lot of different packages, disguised and whatnot, because we've already seen in the NFC Championship game, he's willing to jump over the line to stop the tush push. He is insane. And if you want a svelte edge rusher, put Frankie Louvu on the edge and let him do his thing. But that only can happen if Jordan McGee does what I think he's going to do. He had so much promise before he got hurt. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing him. So, and then the last one, again, they're all on defense for me, is Johnny Newton. Johnny Newton, I think the reason why they were able to say bye-bye to Jonathan Allen is because they think that Johnny Newton is going to be that star that's going to – I mean, he was the Big Ten Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year before he got hurt. I mean, both of his feet were hurting. And so if he can do what he's supposed to do, they're going to need him. They're really going to need him, because I'm not sold on Daron Payne. I'm really not. I just feel that there were times Bobby Wagner cannot be your leading tackler every single week. It just can't happen.
Right.
You have to be able to, again, going back to the Super Bowl, Chris Jones and Carter, your boy, said those were the talks of the Super Bowl. Those guys up the front, up the top, and Allen and Payne have been underwhelming for me, and I just need to see somebody else step up. Somebody needs to be that dog that makes tackles up in the top.
Whether
it's Kinlaw, whether it's Newton, whether Payne steps up, that's still my Achilles heel of this team, and I need to see more from that unit because it's been underwhelming for me. But if Johnny Newton can make a quantum leap with 2 good feet, those are the 3 people that I am looking forward to seeing. Lattimore, Mikey Sanderstill, Jordan McGee, and Johnny Newton. Man, if those people can step up, it's gonna be a really, really fun ride because that offensive line has been addressed. And Jaden is Jaden in the same system for yet another year. But that defense, I mean, what Philadelphia did to Washington, the first play of scrimmage, Saquon Barkley went to the house. So that is going to be that every week. That's going to be at least my focus. How is Witt going to take this unit and make it exponentially better? Because they're going to score points, but can they stop people?
Question from the chat real fast. It says, do you think Gabe Taylor will make the team? I do believe Gabe was a tryout player. Not sure if he made it to the mandatory minicamp, Lou.
No, I mean, it's a good story, but I mean, the competition, man, I actually think there's going to be some people that we have been really, really fond of that might be on the cutting floor when this thing is all over. There is competition all over the place. They are bigger, they are faster, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see some surprise cuts when it gets down to the 53-man roster, but I don't think that Gabe is going to but what a great story, though. What a great story.
I think that comment's for Sid, but Sid, come on, get in here. Get your question in, man.
Hey, no. I was when you were talking about Payne and Allen, I was reading an article probably like a week ago, and it was talking about how they can. I think it's Payne. He's coming to shape. He's coming to camp in shape, and he looks like a different person. I think it was Payne.
Yes.
Did you see that? I mean, have you seen it when you seen him, or is it just them trying to hype him up?
I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, said. I'm just not. I mean, being in shape. I mean, him being in shape is the same thing as them saying that Deebo Samuels is out of shape. It doesn't matter to me. Like when it comes down to game action, Deebo Samuel's body of work, Daron Payne's body of work, right?
Right.
I'm not really impressed on what happens in June and July for me. So yeah, he looked all right. Yeah, I mean
they're not wearing pads.
I mean
they're not pushing each other.
First
around
game against Tampa Bay, invisible. Jaden Daniels was running for his life, whatever. But I mean, they both of them. I mean, even before Jonathan Allen got hurt, there was just no impact. There was no impact. So I need to see more. I need to see more. So I'm glad. I hope he stays healthy, and I hope this is a trigger for him because I do think he's a very talented player. But guys, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough. It's left me wanting for more. When he got that contract, I was like, okay, we're gonna see it now. I mean, you were there.
He got the Bentley.
You've been to some games. You saw is Daron Payne a difference maker on a football field? I mean, I'm taking myself out of it. Sad Lady A and Toothpick, is Daron Payne a consistent disruptor on a defensive line? Yes or no?
No. He's not. I have to agree with something I heard Clinton Portis say. Clinton Portis said, if the opposite For him, it was a defensive coordinator. If the defensive coordinator says we don't have to worry about this person, then you're not making a difference. They are not game planning for you. They game plan for Carter in Philadelphia. They game plan for
Jones in Kansas City.
Jones in Kansas City. They game plan for these guys. I don't believe that Deron Payne is in anybody's game plan. They may say we could throw a double team at him and we could forget about him for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And that, again, let me be clear. They're hard to come by. Disruptors are hard to come by. But my goodness, my goodness, you were thinking that in their prime together, Allen and Payne would have together been one guy, right? But it's just hasn't been there, and it's shown.
The young guy for the Rams. I heard a offensive lineman saying he can go the rest of his career without having to match up against him, and he was a rookie last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had vets saying, "I'm good on him. I don't need to see him no more."
Yep.
Come on, lady.
Yeah, that's my take. That's I've been asked over and over, what concerns you most about this team? It's that defensive line. I think the secondary has been vastly improved. One, because Marshawn Lattimore is healthy. Now, if he struggles and whatever, then I'll come back on the First String podcast and say, you know what, we still in trouble. But I mean, I just don't. Quan and Trey Amos is good. I really, really like this young man. He's got the swagger. He's going to be that person. Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The gang is all here. So, but I feel that if they can improve on that, and you know what, I think of what is really, really paramount that a lot of people have talked about, but I really have to park it for a second and make this comment and make it clear. It is so refreshing, and it is very apparent that you can see a difference this offseason because everybody in the coaching staff came back.
Yep.
Right. The learning curve, you're not starting from ground zero. There's no massive installs going around because everybody's back. It's unfinished business. It was like what Detroit was 2 years ago when they lost and they brought back their coordinators and their head coach to give it one last shot, another try. Now, I don't, there's too much talent on that coaching staff that after next year, this season, that everybody's going to be back. So I'm enjoying the fact, people like Jason Campbell, the late Dwayne Haskins, Robert Griffin III, they all would have signed up to have the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row, right? To have different people in your ear and learning new systems every single year. That's not good. That's not good. So Jaden Daniels is coming into the building, with a mastery of what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do, and it's just going to be more of the same, right? I told you that last year. Last year was the worst team that Jaden Daniels was going to be on, right?
Stop it, Lou. See, this is what I'm talking about.
So
I know I might be late, but this is just
late and wrong.
I can't take any more of this.
So what am I saying that's wrong, Alvin? Take your allegiance to your team out. What did I just say that was wrong? That if they are adding people like Deebo Samuels and Laramie,
Deebo's not made that. You don't know Deebo's going to play more than 8 games.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. How is this team? Let me finish.
Okay.
How is this team that they've assembled with getting another offensive lineman, more help on offense, a healthier Marshawn Lattimore? How is this team, even on paper, better than Jaden Daniels running for his life and having to put on a cape every single week last year?
Okay.
Be honest. Take your allegiance of the team out.
I'm going to take my bias out of this as best I can. If you say on paper, I might can go a little bit with that. But when you say undoubtedly it's going to be a better Debo. Like last time, I'm still looking for Debo because, like you said, Trey Amos had him in witness protection. I heard him doing minicamp. They couldn't find Debo. I heard he had that boy locked up so bad.
You heard, but I saw.
He saw
You
one
heard.
video.
You heard.
Man.
You heard, but I
The
saw.
shade. The shade.
Listen, you
Debo,
heard, but I
It's
saw.
always shade.
and it's always a reason a team gets rid of those type of players, especially with a Ayuk not being healthy, coming off ACL. You'll be more reason to keep consistency in your wide receiver. They gave him away pretty cheap. Then, like I said, I'm a Debo. I like Debo. I can't like him as much as I used
can't
to.
tell.
I can't like him as much as I used to because he wears the wrong jersey now. So it's different. So I think he's a good player. I don't know if he's as good as everyone wants to make him to be, but I think in the Cliff Kingsbury offense, he's gonna find ways to use him like Shanahan did. I do believe that. Now, can he stay healthy? Is the $1 million question.
That's
And
that's what everybody.
Yeah, I know, but Debo has a history. Some people are a little bit more in tune, or injuries kind of follow them a little bit more than they do other players. And Debo history has shown that he tends to get injured more than most. Fair statement.
Well, when you play at running back, wide receiver, do it all.
That's what he's known for. So don't try to make that a reason he gets hurt. He's known because he wears many hats. So if he's going to be dynamic because he wears many hats,
I'm still going back to my question, Alvin. I said that last year was the worst team that Jaden Daniels will play for because they're going to get better as Adam Peters continues to
have an aging Ertz.
But you got Ben Sinnott.
But you don't.
Go ahead, keep going. We have an aging Zach Ertz. We have Ben Sinnott. Keep going. Keep going. Who else is aging? Bobby Wagner. We got Jordan McGee.
Sean Latimer, who hasn't played consistent season for several seasons. You're counting on that as one of your reasons for why they're going to be better. I'm not saying. I just think that's that's the worst team last year.
Yeah,
a team that
I just feel that they have better talent.
I think, but I said this about you all. This is no shade. You all can have a better team next year, but not have a better record. I do believe that you can have a better team this year and not have a better season than you had last year. Meaning going to the NFC Championship, winning 12 games, because the schedule's a lot tougher this year. You play a tougher schedule. You won a lot of games. You won, I think, 7 or 8 games on the last play of the game last year.
Sure,
that's not a way to make a living. You know that.
Well, I know that.
And I think that you get better so that you don't have to do that. But you saying that last year is the worst it's going to be.
For Jaden Daniels.
He said the worst talent that Daniels will play with.
For Jaden Daniels.
Right.
Jaden Daniels.
You mean the worst you'll see of Jaden Daniels?
Huh?
You mean I'm sorry, make sure I understand the question.
I said let me start it over.
Please.
Right, because he was missing stuff.
I've been
I said this year, his rookie year, is the worst team that Jaden Daniels is going to play for with Washington because they are going to get better every single year.
Oh, no, I still disagree. I heard it right.
Well, I mean,
you're just saying a negative thing. We don't want to hear that.
We can agree.
Come on, Lady A. Lady A, come on, get a question in here, Lady A.
We can agree to disagree.
I understand where you're going with this, Lou. I just think that's a very brazen statement to make.
It's a educated opinion because of what we're looking at. So that's all we can really do right now is make an educated opinion. And so you're not really spitting out anything.
I'm making an educated opposition.
Nothing concrete to say that that's a negative, a wrong opinion. So that's why we're gonna keep it moving.
You're saying that he's the worst team that he's gonna play for last year.
Play on.
But I mean, a lot of things went right for you all last year. You're right, and it's
but that doesn't mean we were
go right this year. I guess if you're going by on paper, and it's very early, and I'm not trying to be it's not a commander statement, hater statement, or
he's a negative Nancy.
It's not. I have to be the voice of reason.
You just want to be Nancy right now.
So I didn't say it. I'm just so optimistic that everything is going to go right for the Commanders, and you only had 1 year success. Not you. I'm talking about my co-host.
Your co-host ain't said that either.
Just say pick. Just say pick.
Well, if you go.
I'm about to say, because you can't even mention Lady A, because what did Lady A say last year about the team? We're going to win 12 games. How many games did we win? 12 games. So you can't even say that
How
about
long you
me.
gonna hold on to that? How long you gonna
She
hold
got the right to hold
It's
on
the truth.
for forever.
Okay.
So next,
Okay.
but
You
anyway.
made it. You made it. You were absolutely right. I gave you that. You were absolutely right. And it was a fantastic season for
Yes.
you. I'm happy for my co-host. I'm happy for Lou.
Okay.
I'm happy for the DMV.
So while we're being realistic over here,
But I know, but also, then you have things like the potential sophomore slump. You have a whole.
I don't
we
believe it.
understand.
You don't
Al,
believe
let Lady A get this
You don't
question
believe
in here.
it?
before you
I
start hating.
got to stop there because
Please.
there's two things that annoy me to no end, and it's the term edge rusher and sophomore slump. Right?
Both are real.
You can have a slump at any point in any time of your career. Why does the second year have to? Because people figuring you out.
Well,
I don't subscribe to that. I don't.
Well, I
subscribe.
do. I only say this reason. For this reason, he was seemingly such a brand new entity into the league, and he was so dynamic for 17 plus games for the season. People get paid a lot of money on each team that they play. They get paid to stop him, and I think most of them are very good at their job when they've got a whole year of film to study upon in which to try to find different weaknesses. Now you're all going to do. He's not saying going to do everything the same, but history has shown that quarterbacks that have dynamic seasons, not all, most of them do have some type of leveling off, if not digression, the second season. Now, whether that's due to the defense, whether that's due to their play, whether that's due to some other anomaly that we can't even name, history has shown that those things do happen. But you want to call it a sophomore slump, or whatever you want to, however you want to label it, it does happen, Lou. And we haven't. And I'm not saying it's happened to Jaden Daniels yet, but there is a potential, as history has shown us, that it could happen to Jaden Daniels, and that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, I mean, my whole thing is you could have a slump in your rookie year. You could have a slump in your second year. You could have a third year slump. You could have whatever. I mean, this quarterback is going to struggle, right? They all do, right? Like you said, they all do, right? But the thing he has now, again, I've seen many publications. What they've done to address this offensive line, it's better. Brandon Coleman is better. Connerly is there. Laramie Tunsil is there. Wiley, everybody is better, right? Because they have been together. And I think that, again, going back to my statement, this last year was the worst it's going to be because now there's a cohesive unit. Man, Alvin, you can roll your eyes all you want. I
love you, Lou. I love you. I love you.
Again, but your nonverbals are saying you don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm definitely not saying you don't know what you're talking about. I just think that your enthusiasm for this year has jaded some of your.
My enthusiasm is on real behavior. I've covered this team for 22 years.
And you're excited. And it's been a long 22 years up to last year.
So
you're excited.
So when you see competent behavior all over the place, and you see every assistant coach want to come back to quote unquote unfinished business or whatever, right? The excitement and the enthusiasm is based on competent behavior, right? Yes, you're going to have injuries, and yes, all those things are going to happen. I agree. I'm not saying that they're going to win 12 games. They got a murderous schedule. They're playing on different time zones. This league wants to see this team, right?
Yes.
But I mean, they can get in. Who knows? I mean, this division you can get in with a 9 and whatever record or a 10. I mean, you don't have to have 12 wins for it to be a success, right? You just have to play in that last game and beat whoever is in that last game to get to the Super Bowl, right? To get to San Francisco. That's the goal.
Let's get in here real fast.
Okay, I got one thing.
No, Al.
Lady A
is up.
When she finishes.
No. Please. But okay, so I did have a question in reference to, because we did mention the defensive line. And my dear, my cousin, Frankie Louvu, That's that. Of course, we know that was the thing. Okay. And a lot of people, their criticism was just that it's not a disciplined team, things like that. So, have you seen any of that being addressed so far this year, as far as the defensive line and just them tightening up?
So there's only so much they're going to allow us to see with these mini camps and whatever. Again, I hate to say I don't really know but I'm also a journalist. If I don't know, I don't know. And we are only allowed to see and film certain parts of practices, whatever. I just feel you have more talent that's going to be there. I think the job for me has always been the offensive and defensive coordinator. How are you going to outsmart the other coach on the other side? Now, Joe Witt has weapons. He has a ton of weapons now that he can now start using, right? And you would love for them to get to the quarterback a traditional way like the Philadelphia Eagles did in the Super Bowl, but you might have to turn some things around and blitz more or have disguise packages where Frankie Louvu is involved and you stack the box and you have more people in there. I mean, that's what Joe Witt is going to have to show me. So I can't really speak to the not disciplined thing. If we're looking at Frankie Louvu jumping over the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles to stop the tush push, that's not a fair comparison of being undisciplined. I mean, he was told by his defensive coordinator, stop the darn thing, right? And so that's what he did. But I think that I'll put it to you this way. Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, Jeremy Chin, all those people, they were all given 1-year deals, right? Frankie Louvu was the only one out the box. Him and I think Tyler Biadasz were the only ones at the beginning of this thing that were given 3-year deals. That's how much they think of Frankie Louvu. They want him to be part of this team. So I just feel that, he's important.
Maker. He's a difference maker.
He's important. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong when you have a Samoan on your team.
Yeah, Sid, do you have a question? I know you got to roll out. You got a question?
No, Sid, you need to stay. You can't. No.
Sid.
Roll out.
I gotta go ahead and dip, man. I got something I gotta take care of. I ain't had no choice. I wanted to stay, Lou, but like I say, this work has been crazy. I got here late because of work. I need to dip out to take care of some stuff. But thank you for coming, Lou. I have more content for you next time we're on together.
I love you, Sid. How's Georgia going to do in the SEC this year?
I need to see some stuff from Gunnar Stockton. I really want to see stuff. Now, what I will say is they brought in a gang of wide receivers, and those who were on the team last year, if you drop a ball, go on to the sideline. Because they said that the young man from USC, the two brothers, one that plays linebacker, the other play wide receiver, they said the one play wide receiver is killing people out there. Quick feet, in and out of break. So we got potential.
You got to watch out for Arch Manning.
It doesn't make a difference. He got to play in Georgia. We're not going to take
that game is in Georgia this year. Yes,
it's coming to Georgia.
Yeah,
I might try to pull a little something out, so I can get out there, but I ain't gonna hold my breath.
I might come down for that game, Sid. Work some ticket. I might come down for that game, Sid. I'm gonna get you out of Texas. I might come on over there.
Don't hold your breath, Kyle. Do not hold your breath. This is Sid we talking about.
Sid got on the plane.
Yeah, I'm about to say, we might have got on the plane. You're right. I'm sorry. Forgot about that.
Lady A, really
had issues.
He had to throw me out there like that.
I'm sorry, Sid.
Before you leave, I have to give the whole First String podcast an update. Lou Holder and Alvin have still not played golf.
We have not. And the thing, I look like this right now, Lou, because I was at Queenstown one day. And I'm like, can't stop sweating.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate that.
Exactly.
You threw yourself under the bus.
About it, Lou.
I was told to give a report the next time I came on.
I say
and he's here.
I just
and like a
true
reporter.
Said Lady A and Toothpick, the game has not happened.
Lou,
not happened yet.
I want to know in the next 2 weeks of July, are you busy? And I'm better during the week than the week. Not a weekend.
I'm always busy. Just throw out times, Al.
Oh, I know you always be okay.
He's doing this.
We're always busy.
What's the best?
I have taken this mantra. None of us have free time.
That is
You
true.
make time.
Yeah.
What's the best time to make free time for you? In the afternoon or the morning? What day?
He can't tell that over there on
Yeah,
air.
we'll talk
We'll
offline.
talk. We'll talk. Exactly.
Come on now.
But
Al.
Next time I'm on the
back
first
to business,
podcast,
Lou. Can
I
I
hope
say
we'll
one
have
thing,
a
Lou?
we'll have a I'll have an update on our golf games.
But Lou, one thing.
Of course.
Can I say one thing too, Lou? I want to revisit something with you. And what I was going, because the chat likes bringing up Dak, and I don't know how Dak even got brought into this. But since they want to bring Dak into this, I remember a rookie guy having a rookie season, won 13 games for the Dallas Cowboys. And let me first say this before I get any comparisons. I think Jaden's ceiling is so much higher than Dak's. So let me start off saying that. I'm not trying to compare and saying that Dak's better than.
That's a setup. That's a setup, lady.
No, it's a real statement. So I say that to say his ceiling, I believe, is a lot higher. And I'm not saying he's a better quarterback than Dak, but his ceiling to be a better quarterback is definitely higher than Dak in regards to potential, what he is. But to that whole thing you're saying, it should only get better from him when you surround him with talent. And it's not the same, but similar in regards to how we felt after Dak's rookie year, that we thought we had found our potentially franchise quarterback, which he has been, but it's the NFL. So many things change. Even when it looks better, it may not be better. And you know that, Lou. Behind the curtains, in the locker room, different things, it can look a lot. We can surround them all the talent, but if it doesn't mesh and if it doesn't play well together, it's not going to be better. And
so here's my pushback to that.
Okay.
Is that and I'll just be blank and
please
honest with you. Your franchise is a mess.
It is.
And it has been a mess the entire time Dak Prescott has been there.
Yep.
And before he got there,
because the owner can't get out of his own way, right? And so there's things that prevented Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys from making those leaps. You know, I remember 2 years ago when they came down to Washington, won the division, and this and that, and then what they lose to Green Bay in the first round or whatever. You know, there's always something, and it's the cloud of that owner that will prevent all players, everything from making that quantum leap to the next level. So until the Dallas Cowboys solve that.
But even that year,
let's hope that they don't.
But even that, what you just said, Lou, if you look back to that year, even though we won that division that year, I contributed that was pure luck because Philly crumbled late. Philly was dominating that whole season and crumbled late, and we kind of
that's part of football, though.
Yeah, it is, but it was a lot of things going on, and that's kind of to my point where things can seemingly be going great, everything can be clicking, and then someone throws a kink in the cog, and it stops clicking.
I just feel, going back to the whole statement that I made, I don't see Jaden Daniels running for his life and having to save this team every single week with his arm and his leg and everything like that. I just feel that there's more weapons out there. He's going to have more time to throw the ball because that offensive line is going to keep him upright. Laramie Tunsil was brought here for a reason, and that reason was they need a Trent Williams, right, to move Brandon Coleman around or whatever. I mean, I just feel that it's going to get better for him every single year from now. I mean, at least this year, because more parts is coming. And I predicate that only because of what I've seen so far by Adam Peters. Right? The groceries are being secured. Right. Yes. And I really don't like when people go back to their past, you know, Dallas Cowboys included, blah, blah. It's like, really, what have you done for me lately? Right. But I will say, when you see your past start showing up in your present and your future, you do have to take note of what that past was. Yeah. And when you look at images of Bobby Beathard and Joe Gibbs, when they were in their heyday, both of them have gold jackets, Al. Both of them have gold jackets. And what they were able to do with Jack Kent Cook's blessing, that trio, but even more specifically, those two, the the GM and the head coach being in lockstep with one another, we have not seen that in this area for a long, long time. So when you see it, you have to take notice of it. He was the most coveted a front office executive for years in the NFL. He came here, and within a year, he's done his part. And Dan Quinn, thank you so much. Dan Quinn has come over, and all the lip service that has been talked about with culture change, you have actually seen it. It's a case study in how bad it was and how interesting it is now. Right?
I got to interrupt you 1 second.
You look like a hater.
We've seen this before. Dan Quinn is my
Talks
guy.
like a hater.
We have.
Dan Quinn is my guy. I like Dan Quinn.
We haven't seen any of that stuff.
We have.
We have seen Dan Quinn.
We've seen that.
Very successful.
Have we seen Dan Quinn with Adam Peters?
Never.
We haven't.
Never.
But we've seen Dan Quinn be successful early.
But Adam is
But you gotta look at the.
Oh, you're
entire
talking
picture.
Atlanta in the Super Bowl, correct?
Yes.
What happened after that?
That has to be accounted. No, you said the history. We have to take some account to the history.
Right.
You can't ignore it just because we don't like it. And
I'm not saying that.
Al, you even said it yourself.
That's not you. Two people above me.
No, we're not saying that. Al. We said it was a perfect storm.
I said the duo of Adam Peters and Dan Quinn so far the sample size has been successful.
Correct.
They have gotten people to buy into a new culture in record time. So much so that within a year, people like Laramie Tunsil, people like Marshawn Lattimore, all these people now have to buy into a culture that has been created in a year.
Hey, Lou, but let me say this to you, Lou.
In a year.
I've said this to my
because Al, you beating a dead horse.
I've said this to you all. No, but the thing is, I want to understand. I've told them that Laramie Tunsil from the outside looking in looks like a quality pickup, but I'm always skeptical. Excuse me. Any team, because not very many teams get rid of a Pro Bowl left tackle. So why? That's just
salary cap.
Right. I was gonna say
you make those.
Al, who was the star of the star of the Super Bowl?
Who was the star of which Super Bowl?
Yeah, the Super Bowl that we just had.
The most recent Super
Jalen Carter?
No. It was the guy that was a star who had it was his first year on the team, right?
Oh,
the star of the Super Bowl was quarterback Jalen Hurts. That was the start of the Super Bowl.
You talking about Saquon Barkley that got him there?
Oh, Saquon?
Where did he come from?
The Giants.
Why did he go to the Giants?
Because he left them.
Free agency.
He left them. They didn't have a trade.
And they were not.
But they didn't want to sign him.
Traded and left the free agent is two totally different things.
Sometimes,
but should he have even been available? He shouldn't have been available.
He shouldn't.
That's her point.
Available. And why was he available? Pick. That's the only thing.
Because they invested in
quality left tackles do not become available very often.
But they invested in
them. Neither do shutdown corners.
And you say Marshawn Lynch is one of those? He used to be. We haven't seen Marshawn Lattimore shut down anybody in 3 years.
Here's the thing, perfect storm. So, that's the word you use.
I would beg to differ that I feel that there were times where people weren't throwing to him, even when he was hurt. I mean, his level of respect that he still has there. So again, the Champ Bailey isn't coming through that door. There is no Revis. There's none of that. But as far as his dog mentality, I mean, I don't know. Again, as I said, you weren't here when I said this. Most corners would have struggled with Mike Evans and Brown in the playoffs. I mean, they're just two elite wide receivers.
Absolutely.
But in that Detroit game, we didn't hear about any of their receivers, right? We didn't hear about any of his receivers. He was on the field. Marshawn Lattimore was on the field, and we didn't hear about any of their wide receivers. So, and that's with him playing hurt.
I can agree with you.
So I just feel that there's a lot of things to be optimistic about. Where before, if I was to come on the First String podcast in July of 2023, 2022, 2021, it would be like, I don't know, bruh.
And we was available there
know,
too,
bruh.
and you did. We can go back and look at it.
I don't know, bruh. Now, I don't have any concerns now. I don't have any concerns that are egregious. Obviously, the concerns that you mentioned is the concerns that every single team in the NFL has to deal with. Injuries is what you look like in July 22nd when they report to camp. The same thing that you're going to see in January. Absolutely not. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Absolutely.
There's going to be probably going to be a major injury because that's just the way the NFL looks, right?
Yes.
But what I can say, this is what the great thing about it is, they got more to do. I don't think Adam Peters is done, right? Because there's going to be people falling off rosters left and right when there's going to be these cut down 53 men or whatever. I just feel that he has cap space still. He's been so good with the cap, right, that I just feel that we have been asking for somebody like this for a long, long time around here. And it's good to say, you know what? You do you, bro. Let you cook. You do what you do, right?
Right.
So I just know that Quan Martin is the only one from that draft class that's still remaining, right? The whole Emmanuel Forbes draft class gone.
That's
gone. That shows you. Now look at this draft class. Look at this draft class. Johnny Newton, we're still looking for him, right? Defensive player of the Jordan McGee, he's gonna be coming. Mikey Sanders he's gonna be coming. Ben Sinnott, I feel Ben Sinnott's gonna break out. Brandon Coleman, my goodness, if
he moves the
Daniels, look at this draft class already. You have to think that McCorsky Merritt, the running back, Trey Amos, Connor Lee, they're gonna, and then there's next year. I mean, it's gonna keep getting better and better because this man knows how to identify talent. Now, going back to your whole Dan Quinn still might stumble. You're absolutely right. We have seen what happened, but we've also seen that Bobby Wagner said, you know what? I'm coming here to finish my career because of you. I am ending my career in Washington because of Dan Quinn, not because of anybody else. So if we think about that, because there was a time where people are like, you know what? I want Ben Johnson. I want the hot shot new coordinator. I totally agree with maybe wanting that segment, but I tell you what, no one would have been able to assemble the coaching staff that is currently there without Dan Quinn. Like, you got Anthony Lynn on there, you got Brian Johnson on there, you got a lot of head coaches that said, you know what, we want to come and play for Dan Quinn because even though what you said that, you know what, he has this history, whatever, we're going to ride and die with this guy. And I just, that just leads to optimism.
I want to say this, Lou, we don't need to entertain Al this much because let me tell you something. Al told us last season that we had a perfect storm, and that's the reason why. So with that said, why is it that he doesn't believe it? That's what you said, Al. You said
I stand behind that statement.
So if it's a perfect storm, that means that everybody is in place for a reason. Right? That's what it means. A perfect storm. That means that all the people were in their places for a specific reason in order for it to work. With that said, if we have the entire coaching staff back, those people are still in position. So I don't understand.
Plays twice, baby.
It doesn't matter if you think that even you said, oh, well, you might have a better team. You might not have a better record, but nonetheless, better team means better team. We could have a record that's not as great as last year and still win the Super Bowl. So
here's what I have to say about last year. From being in the press box and watching every single game, here's what I would say about last year. You are absolutely correct, Alvin, that there were some games that they should not have won, but there's also some games that they should not have lost either. That Pittsburgh game, Zach dominated
that game, though. Pittsburgh dominated that game for the most part.
But Zach Ertz did get to the line of scrimmage. He did get to the place where that should have been moving the chains, right?
Yeah,
so listen, for every for every Hail Mary, right?
Oh,
There was a 2-dart performance on Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals, right?
Yeah,
for every, and then you could say, well, for the Eagles, there was for every game that they were in it though, right? They were in all of these games, right? There may have been some luck or whatever at the end, but the talent was there that they were in a lot of these games.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They were in. I don't question.
Except the last one.
So that means it's a good team.
I said that you all played well above what anyone expected outside of Lady A, or what most people expect.
Wait, really?
I mean, I expected it.
Hey, hold on, wait. Let me jump in. You're watching First Street Podcast live here. We have Lou Holder from Holder Sports joining us today, and we're talking a little Commanders. In a few, we are going to switch up our topic right now. Al, you've done a great job of showing antagonizing, showing your Dallas bias and all of that good stuff. Let me ask you this question of you real fast, Lou, before we switch gears here. You named a bunch of the rookies and second-year players, right? Is there a vet that we are overlooking that could play a key part in the Commander's success next year?
A veteran that's going to play a key part?
A veteran that we're overlooking, like, I don't know. Let's see. Al's guy, Michael Gallup, will he come in and be successful? Is there the opportunity for him to come in and be successful and play a major part in our success? Is there a guy that we're overlooking on the defense, maybe even the special teams that we're overlooking that could have a major part to do with the Commander's success this year?
No, I don't think we're overlooking anybody. I just feel that there isn't a person that I can say that is overlooked. Like, the background on a lot of these people have been fully vetted. Like, we know
who they are.
I just feel that I will say this though. I think that together, a collective unit, which is why some publications have them as one of the most improved in the NFL. I think collectively, Allegretti, Wiley, Biotish, those veterans together, I just feel that they are rejuvenated, like they are having fun out there, right? And going into last year, the offensive line was the biggest question mark of the entire year. Mm-hmm. At the end of the year, that was the strength of the team, right? Mm. And that is without Sam Cosmi, who we don't know how long that knee injury is going to keep him out. But I just feel – so I will say collectively as a unit, there was a number of people on that offensive line that I feel that we've overlooked. We've overlooked. And I feel together they're going to make things very, very fun to watch, because that's one thing I could say with Dak and in Dallas and some of these other places. The game of football has not changed. If you can protect your quarterback and go ahead and get to the other team's quarterback, you will win football games. The game of football has not changed. It's in the trenches. It's the uglies. It's the big uglies. That's why I'm saying I have concerns about Washington's defensive line. But for the first time, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this, for the first time in decades, I don't have a concern about the offensive line. Not one. Not one. Not one. They have interchangeable parts. They have depth if somebody gets hurt. I just feel that is a unit that, man, I feel that if they and Jaden is one of those people that you don't even have to stay in your gaps too long because he gone. But I just feel that offensive line and the safety valves of Zach Ertz and Ben Sinnott and all those. I just feel that offensive unit, if you want to talk, there's a couple of guys, veterans on that offensive line that we have overlooked, but they're not going to be in the stat sheet because they just do their job, right? But one of my unsung heroes of last year, who I'm also looking forward to seeing him grow in confidence, was Tyler Biotish.
Oh, yes.
He came over from Dallas, and he was on the other side of the ball. He said, I want to come and play with Dan Quinn again, right? Because he saw what he did in Dallas, right? What he did for that rookie quarterback, it can't be said enough. That was the quarterback of the offensive line for a rookie who was still trying to figure things out. And Tyler Biadasz calmed the ship. He calmed the waves many, many games. I saw it firsthand. That he made sure things. He was the quarterback of that offensive line, and the first couple games they were still trying to figure it out. Remember that second game against New York that was just butt ugly, and we were just like, ugh. But then they started to grow in confidence.
Yep.
And Cosme,
You can see it in real time.
Ready, and I mean, it just was great. And now they brought in Tunsil for whatever what Al wants to say, whether it's a question mark or whatever. He's another body.
He is.
He's another body.
A quality body.
Right? Connerly, man, he is a quality body, right? I just feel that they have a lot of parts now because they know what's going to get this team late into the football season and into San Francisco. And that's keeping Jaden Daniels upright. I mean, because we all have seen it, right? That year when Mark Rippon was touched like 4 times the entire year.
Yeah. Super Bowl.
Mark Rippon can't move.
He can't.
He couldn't move.
I got 2
He
questions.
was sitting there just picking people apart because there was nobody even near him, right?
Yep.
That's what you need. That's what you need. And again, I just feel that's they doubled down and they made sure they got more offensive linemen, and they doubled down and make sure that they got more secondary people. So those were the two. The one thing that I wish could have been addressed more, but you can't swing and get all of it at one time, is that I just wanted more for them Alabama boys, and they just didn't give it to me. They just didn't.
That was my question for you, Lou. What kind of impact or what kind of year, I won't say hoping, what kind of year are you expecting from Deron Payne first? Because I think he's key for you all, because he's kind of what's left, and he's where the money has been paid to. And I think my whole thing, they'll tell you all the time, he who controls the trenches controls the games. I say that all the time on here. And he's part of that reason. He will be part of the reason you can control the defensive line. I think if he's doing what he needs to be doing.
I want the best, Al, but I'm not optimistic.
Okay. And
I'm just not. I think that, no one ever thought that Adam Peters would pull the trigger and say, Jahan Dotson, you out of here. You and Ridgeway, we getting you out of here. We packaging it up, and we're going to get Marshawn Lattimore with that, right? So he has no allegiance to anybody that he did not draft, right? So Deron Payne, all of them. Anybody that was not here when Adam Peters came in, he has no allegiance to these people.
I will say this: if you're not
he doesn't
producing,
show up, I can see him gone too.
And I say this to them. I say it to Lady A and Pick all the time. A lot of your success, or the team success, being the Commanders, will be determined. Jaden Daniels has to be your bottom 3 or worse. If that makes sense, rushing on your team.
Absolutely.
He can't be.
He can't do that. That's what I mean.
He's your leading rusher again. If he's your top 2, your top 20, your top 2 leading.
It's not gonna work.
You're gonna have a problem.
It's not
absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with that, Al.
And then that brings me to my third Alabama boy, Brian Robinson.
Brian
Robinson has got to step up. He's got to stay healthy. I'm not optimistic about that either.
He has competition in the room with him this time.
He's had competition before.
I think he's gone.
I
give him a pass. The man was shot his freshman.
I'm about to say, y'all been giving him a pass for a couple
Remember, I
years.
said that.
But at the end of the season,
at
the end of the season, he didn't finish the end of the season.
You
missed the first 4.
You
missed the first 4. You didn't finish the end of the season. The following year, you missed the end of the season. Last year, you missed games in the middle of the season, and your production at the end of the season was null and void.
I want the best for him. But I do not want to see Chris Rodriguez left off the field anymore. He deserves a place on that field. I saw 3 games where he came in and did serviceable work Austin Eckler is always a concussion away, so you're going to need that running back room. Saquon Barkley has shown that the running back position is still of major interest in the NFL. And I just feel that's the third Alabama boy that I'm just like, you know what, man. I mean, I want the best for all of them. I want the best for Jonathan Allen in Minnesota. I want the best for all of them. I just was very, very disappointed that it didn't work out here. It didn't work out here. I thought the two of them were going to clog up some stuff. Alvin, there was times where you didn't see them with a tackle on the sheet, right? And I said this before you got on the podcast. Bobby Wagner can't be your top tackler every single game. No. That's not going to work. The man's going to Canton for the work he already did. This is probably his last year, whatever. Your leading tacklers should be up front, not your linebackers.
Let me disagree a little bit with that slightly, because from this regard, when Baltimore, when they had
Ray Lewis,
he was the leading tackler. He had those big.
Big boys, but he had people.
Ray Lewis was in his prime.
He was different. He had big body Tony Saragusa taking up double teams to keep him free.
That's what
but
you
got John
These
Allen
guys aren't doing that.
No, they taking up double teams so they can disappear, and the double team still gets to the linebacker.
I agree.
Lady A got a question.
I actually have a 2-part question. Number one, we saw all of this coverage on Jaden picking up weight, getting muscle, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes that does affect your mobility. I wanted to know if you saw a change in that. And then also, in your opinion, who was the biggest dog on the field?
Well, I'll start with the last one. You really can't. They only let us see so much, right? So I really like the way Marshawn Lattimore looked. I mean, I just really thought the way he looks is encouraging for me. Dog, I don't. It's too early for dog behavior. I don't really subscribe to that. It's hard to have that in the dead of summertime. Who was the biggest dog out there, right? I do like that. I do like that who did come for voluntary OTAs and whatever. You know, I if you want to talk about, for me, the biggest dogs for me are those veterans who say, you know what, I'm still showing up. So again, if you to answer your question in a different way, Lady A, it's Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz for me. These are two guys that could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to do some load management. I know all the plays and everything like that. I'm just not going to come and I'll just whatever. No, those guys were there leading by example. That's a dog to me.
Right.
That's a dog to me, you know. As far as Jaden Daniels, absolutely he put on a little bit of weight. You could see he put on a little bit of weight, but what does that really – Yeah, I mean, he was a stick figure last year. So now he's on some weight. Huh?
Was he moving the same? Or?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you even have to worry about Debo as much because, I mean, if he gained a little bit of weight, I mean, it's the beginning of the summertime. Like, I don't. He's there. He showed up. He was there, right? Mm-hmm. So you had, going to Alvin's point, as far as maybe a question mark with Laramie Tunsil, you had 2 new guys that came in, right? 3, count Marshawn Lattimore as one of them because really he whatever. But if you want to take it, the 2 big name players that were brought into this franchise over the offseason was Laramie Tunsil on the offense and also Debo Samuels, right? Debo was at every OTA. He didn't miss one. He was there for everything. Laramie Tunsil didn't come, and the first day, man, he looked out of shape. I didn't go all 3 days. I went 2 of the 3 days. I don't know if he was full participation in the second day, not sure, but it was good to see that Debo Samuels was there, right? Mm-hmm. I think your best ability is your availability. And I just think that they were there. And that's encouraging for me. So, but going with the weight, they're not going to look the same. They're not going to look the same now as they do a month from now, right?
Mhm.
I've been through this. I've been through this cycle too much to put too much weight, no pun intended, into how somebody looks in June.
Yeah.
Right.
I can
Right.
do that.
Shoot, I know
Lou.
I would look. I know I would let myself go a little bit.
Well, you know,
Lou is
Actually, I
about
let
to.
myself go a lot. I'm trying to get some of this down. But
please,
I will
Lou,
say,
get some of this.
I can
some of this. I
I
got
can
Lou.
still swing a golf club. So Alvin, let's go.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, I
don't
know
stop
it won't be this weekend because Lou, you got something going on this weekend that
Talk to
you're
me. What's going on, Lou?
waiting to tell us about, right?
So I do feel that there's just certain things within the sports industry that are worthy of our time and worthy of our attention, right? And organizations that talk about equality in sports, mental health, finances, things of that nature. Being in this business for decades, I've gotten invited to speak at a lot of different things. But there's an organization that has come up on my radar called ABIS, Advancing Beyond in Sports. The founder is Gary Charles. Number of people have told me about this organization and the number of people that they've honored, all talking about equality in sports. And so they asked me, Renee Miles Payne, who's the chief people officer, April Taylor, who's a strategist, and Clyde Dowdy, who's the athletic director over at Bowie State, have all told me about this organization. Went last year to the conference that they had at the National Harbor here in Washington, in Fort Washington, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the conversation, the symposium that they had, the way they honored people. They honored Ben Crump. They honored Muhammad Ali's wife, Lonnie Ali. They honored the Cheney basketball team that was led by Vivian Stringer that was undefeated. They honor a bunch of people, and before they've honored so many people. So I said, hey, look, I'm all in because I like to talk about advancing beyond in sports. Like, what are the topics out there that we can have discussions on? And so they want me to talk about, I'm actually up in Baltimore this weekend. I'm actually moderating 2 panels. One is on hurt, healing, and advocacy. Whether you get hurt physically or whether mentally you've been hurt, right? How are you handling that as an athlete in sports? How are you handling it when they say, you know what, your time in sports is now over? Do you have somebody advocating for you to maybe go into television or go into the front office or going somewhere? The hurt, health, and advocacy is much more than just a physical injury. It's mental injuries too. And I just want to have a conversation with those individuals that were on that panel, on that graphic that Toothpick just put up, that we're going to talk about that. And then I'm also going to be doing a fireside chat with Lawrence Ham, who's the senior VP of business development for Events DC. And this young man, he is a up-and-coming superstar in the sports commission space. He has brought so many events. Lady A, you talked about the soccer series last year. He was responsible, and he was in part on bringing that to Washington, D.C. He has been responsible for bringing the NFL draft to Washington, D.C. The president got up there and made the announcement, but let me be clear. Let me be crystal clear. Lawrence Ham was the one that brought that event to Washington, D.C. Road races, bike races, the PGA, the senior PGA. Alvin, you'll be happy to know that he's involved. I went out there a couple of weeks ago. Senior PGA, saw Ernie L, saw VJ Singh.
I follow VJ. I followed VJ on Thursday.
Events DC was responsible for bringing that event, and the U.S. Open is coming, and so many things are coming to Washington DC, and he's in charge of business development. And so I'm going to have a chat with him about the industry, about the ups and downs of being a person of color in that space, and how that looks and feels. And so they're having a day-long symposium on Saturday the 28th. And then at nighttime, man, they're honoring some really, really good people. The commissioner of the CIAA, Jackie Willis Parker, she's getting honored. What a joy she has been to cover what she's done with that league, bringing the CIAA basketball tournament to Baltimore. Her leadership under tremendous adversity. I mean, imagine having your men's championship game ready to happen, and your halftime entertainment was Angie Stone that got killed the night before on the way to the tournament, and how she was able to handle conflict and things of that nature. Just an amazing leader in the space. She's being honored. Sonny Vaccaro, the sports executive, he's being honored. And two people that are really, really near and dear to this area for what they've done. John Lucas and Walt Williams are both being honored with awards. And you can't say enough about what Walt Williams saved Maryland basketball. After that whole Len Bias thing and Bob Wade, Gary Williams came in. This is one guy who could have gone anywhere. I call him the high sock savior of Maryland basketball, because without him, they were dead. They were on restriction. They had all kind of things going on. And this guy from Crossland High School, he could have gone anywhere.
Stayed home.
He stayed home to help Gary build that program, and he's still with the organization doing sideline reporting with Chris Nockey and Johnny Holiday. So well deserved that they are honoring these people, and it's just a celebration of sports. And I feel that I wanted to mention what was going on so people can, run up there and come to the symposium, come check it out, come to the dinner where you're honoring these people. weareabis.org is where you can go and learn more information. But I like what this organization is doing. There is a think tank. There is conversation. You got to have the conversations to keep the things going. You can have these big programs and things of that nature, but you got to have these. It's also networking too, right? It's also networking. I'm a big networker. Your skills will pay the bills, but your network will get you work. So if you're looking for jobs in the space, they're having a job fair and a career fair the day before on the 27th. But the 28th is a symposium that I'm going to be putting my name, image, and likeness on 2 programs there. And then that dinner at night is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
That NIL. Can you give the name of that site one more time for us, please?
The what?
The name of the site where we can get the tickets and everything from.
So it's weareabis, all one, weareabis.org.
All right. Lady A, can you drop that in the chat?
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. And listen, Lou, I gave you a heads up last week. I'm not sure if you did or didn't. If you didn't, it's fine. Mm-hmm. But Al wound up giving us a little bit of homework because he came up with this fabricated list as he normally does.
That was fabricated.
It was fabricated. Lou,
PFF did the list. Okay. Pro Football Focus.
Pro Football Focus.
Okay. That's the fabricator, Lou.
It was Pro Football Focus, but of course they hired some Cowboy fan, and he came up with a list of the best. What was
All-NFC. NFC East.
It was okay. It was an All-NFC East team. Right,
all NFC East, all offense and defense,
offense and defense, and
10 of them were Cowboys.
Right, about that. 20 of them were Cowboys.
No, 10 of the 22. Don't do that big.
Was it 10 of the 22?
They even had Hamburg on it, which shouldn't.
Okay, right. So so this list was obviously biased because it was some Cowboy fan writer
focus
hiding in Pro Football Focus. So what we decided to do, thanks to Al, is we decided to put together our own for the next 4 weeks, right? You just happen to be here on the week that we're doing the offense. We're going to go NFC, not just NFC East, just NFC offense, right? So I know Al has his list ready. I have my list ready.
Oh, please, this one go ready. I'll tell you about my night in a second, but go ahead. I'm getting it together. Go ahead.
He doesn't have it together. He assigned the homework and didn't do it himself.
Pick. Let me
just like a Cowboy fan. So I'll go first, right? I'll go first, and Lou, can you say or let me know if I'm biased or unbiased here.
Biased.
First, it is supposed to be an 11-man squad, right? But who really has 11 offensive players? You have some specialists that you bring in and out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And people get hurt. My offensive line is not getting hurt. I'm going to start off my offensive line with at my left tackle. I'm going to put Trent Williams. Put Trent Williams at my left tackle. At my left guard, I'm going to put Nate Newton. My center, this is going to surprise a bunch of people, but I'm going to go Sean O'Hare here. I'm going to go Sean O'Hare, New York Giant. Russ Grimm is going to be my right guard, and I'm going to move Joe Jacoby from the left side to the right side. I'm putting Joe Jacoby on my right side. At quarterback, I have one Michael Vick because you're not going to be able to handle with my wide receivers. But just in case you do, your defense, I'm going to put Mike Vick there. His backup is Drew Brees. Barry Sanders is my first running back, followed by Walter Payton as my backup. And that's crazy because I can put those two in and just go one wide receiver, one tight end, and have a crazy backfield for you. At wide receiver, I have Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. My backups are Larry Fitzgerald and Art Monk. At tight end, I have Tony Gonzalez, and his backup is Vernon Davis. As you can tell, I have a good possession receivers here, and Art Monk, Larry, and I have some receivers that'll take the top off, and Jerry Rice and Randy Moss, as well as my tight end. He's going to control the middle of the field, and when I want to get real nasty, I'll put Vernon in there so he can take off on you. Lou, what do you think about my offense?
So this is for the whole NFC, correct?
Yes.
I have to say that I have to do some more research on some of those. Yeah, I don't know. This is all time now.
Well, it's my all-time list. I could have gone back a little further, but I stuck with my era. I stuck with my era of football.
That's what
people
we should
as much as I love Michael Vick, that quarterback position is
question.
I mean, if we're going quarterbacks, I mean, I don't know how you leave Joe Montana. There's just so many.
I knew Joe Montana was going to come up, right? I knew he was going to come up, and I figured I said somebody else will bring him up, and I'll let them argue that part. But I wanted a mobile quarterback, and I'm not saying Joe wasn't mobile, and he could get the ball to where he needed to go.
So, I mean, if you're talking mobile quarterbacks and exciting quarterbacks, I mean, I love Michael Vick, but I mean, Randall Cunningham was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. So
absolutely,
there's those are this is a good exercise, Alvin. I would like to come back being more prepared. Yes. But I just I know that there was some
Super Bowl era. I think we got to put a few more restrictions on this pick. We got to keep it whether we go to Super Bowl era or let's do the whole. I think it's just too many good players.
It absolutely is. That's why I stuck into my era. If I didn't see you play, you didn't make this list. Everybody on this list.
Well, we had to have seen them play. That would be within the last roughly 40 plus years.
Yes,
watching football, I guess for me. Mm-hmm. For you too, Pick, because you're older than me. Only one, Lady A might be able to. She's so young. She's her young eyes. She's done even watching football for 20 years now.
I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know.
A really recent list there. That's
I'm
what's
glad you know that I'm 35 on Thursday.
Listen, on Tuesday, you're 35 every Tuesday. I know that for sure.
I said on Thursday, I'm 35. Okay, that's what I'm
Again,
sticking with.
I'm just saying every Tuesday we wanted to show you been 35. So I know
Hey,
Thursday you got a birthday coming up and all that good stuff.
I'm
man.
35,
You'll be 35 again.
sir.
See how you keep getting yourself in trouble, man. You're gonna wind up getting fined.
Mind your
Lady,
business.
Lady A, is your list ready or
No, this ain't ready, but I'm gonna tell you.
Al, are you ready?
I'm
you
no.
give us-
Al, how do you give us this?
Let me
And-
tell, can I tell y'all something? This is my dedication, Lou, to this show. Lou.
Excuses. Here we go.
And again, I was going to go, of course, early, but I did go to work after the go, of course. But I was in an effort to get here on time. I left Annapolis, and I knew I needed gas. And it said I got 44 miles to empty, and I was 46 miles from home. So I had a business decision to make. And I did. So in an embarrassing, the first time in my life, and one of the most embarrassing, I ran out of gas a mile from my house. Trying to get home. I had to have my wife come bring me the gas cans. Go. That's what got me here 45 minutes late instead of 5. Because I'm trying to get to this show. And I said, I need to have my butt whooped. I'm over here. I didn't pass 12 gas stations. And I'm worried about getting to a show on time. And I didn't pass ain't a mile from my house, not even a mile. The left, two left turns. And I'm sitting here just kicking my own self, walking across the street to the gas station, put gas, and that's for the first time for me. I'm sitting there like,
I can't. That's the excuse of the year. I got that one.
Pocket full of money.
If Al ran out of gas
Al
to get to the
is
show,
17 years old,
because I'm trying to get here for a show, and I said, 44
and all I
miles,
hear is excuses. You
44
see,
miles empty, and I was 46.
you should be
miles.
ashamed of yourself.
I am ashamed.
Okay,
My daughter
not
even said,
only
"Dad,
not only did you come late with a wild excuse, but you don't have your homework. I'm not understanding this.
I'm just saying.
still
It's
get
been a long day.
on the assignment that
Do
he gave.
you have the offensive line?
Yeah, do you have
I
that?
like, I got some. I got Larry Allen.
Of course, you gonna have Larry Allen.
Of course.
Zach Martin is one of my guards.
Yeah.
Who else I was pitching there? They don't like my.
And I also left Larry Allen off. I knew you would cover that for me.
Well, you know I would. Our receivers were actually the same. I had Rice and Moss as my receivers. I did have Barry and Emmett as my running backs. Okay, hold on a second. Who else? I had who was my I had a left.
You got a tight end for us.
Tight end was who? I didn't have a tight end. Who was my tight end? I had a couple guys listed there. Oh. My homework's incomplete, Coach. Who is tight end?
And Lady A. Let's see what you got, Lady A.
Yeah, please, Lady A. I'm so.
While Al gets his work together.
Give me a second. Let me just double check something real quick. I only have to double check one name.
So the one part of this is if you played your whole career in the AFC, then I couldn't get you on the team. You know, like Randy Moss played, he played in both divisions, NFC, Minnesota, and then he went AFC with the Raiders, and then finally New England, right? So he had been back and forth. So that's why I got Randy Moss over there. Mm-hmm. Jerry Rice started off with San Fran, wound up in Kansas City.
Right.
Larry Fitzgerald and Art Monk stayed in the division on this side. Tony Gonzalez is another one, wound up in Kansas City, but he started off in Atlanta. Vernon Davis pretty much with Denver, but he got drafted by San Fran, went to Denver, then came to Washington. So if you flipped and flopped, you started off in the NFC, and I pretty much used you on that side because that's where you probably did most of your damage. Tony Gonzalez did a lot of damage on both sides as well. So, Lydia, you ready?
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, because we're supposed to cover this for a while, right?
Yeah, we got next week we have NFC defense.
Okay, well,
I'll supply a list. And
all right,
I'm gonna run.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate
much,
you for coming
Lou.
on.
Alvin, holla at me.
I got you, Lou. Promise you. I know I'm gonna do better than I did last time. I
All
promise
right.
you. on that.
Lady A, let me know when you coming out. They start on the 22nd. Let me know when you coming out.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Lou. We
Always a
appreciate you.
pleasure.
Thank
All
you
right.
for all the time.
Man,
Ain't no
definitely
problem.
appreciate you, Lou.
And make
Right.
sure you guys go to weareabis.org. Get out to Baltimore this weekend. Lou's holding a great symposiums and things of that nature that will give you a lot of information and some access to some people. A lot of good things. I wish this was in Texas, or I wish I was home right now.
I wish my daughters. I have my daughter's graduation parties that day, Lou. I wish I could definitely.
That's important, Al.
Yeah, that's important. That's where you need to be.
I'm going to be there, but
And
congratulations.
the thing will happen every year. Hopefully, we'll have it in DC, whatever. But next year, I want you all there. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
It's a good. You got to invest in yourself.
Yes.
Whether it's conversation or whatever your next is, you need to be around people in the space that are talking about certain things. And this NIL and finance and mental health, they're big, big issues. And it's just good to talk. Even if it's just for a short while, it's good to talk and hear other people's perspective and learn what the tools are that's out there to help you in these different areas. So it should be fun. Should be fun.
All right.
All right.
You, Lou.
Talk to you.
All righty.
All right.
That was Lou Holder. You can catch him on YouTube at Holder Sports on YouTube. So make sure you check him out there. All right. As well, that's where he brings you a lot of good content and things of that nature. Okay, Lady A, let's get your list.
All right. So I'm pulling up all my notes. All right. So I have left tackle, because I'm doing offensive line. Sorry, guys. Left tackle, I have Walter Jones. He was drafted by the Seahawks.
Mhm.
9-time Pro Bowl, 6-time. He was inducted. Hold on, that's more important. Inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2014.
Yup.
He is also part of the Seahawks Ring of Honor. And his jersey was retired, so definitely a playmaker. I have Larry Allen. Al kind of covered him already. And then I have Randy Cross. Randy Cross was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2010. I think he's an analyst now, right? I think Randy is
Randy Cross?
Cross. Yes, Cross.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes, he is.
Okay. Yeah. So, and he played for UCLA. He came out of UCLA, and then hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Because he's a 49ers. But he did stints with the Vikings, the Raiders, New England, Titans, and then of course with the 49ers at the end. Then I have Larry Little. Yeah, he actually came on as an undrafted free agent with the Chargers. And fun fact, he played college football for Bethune-Cookman. So shout out to him. And Larry went to the Hall of Fame in 93. Mm-hmm. He also was selected to the NFL's 1970s All-Decade team.
Yep.
He's part of the Miami Dolphins honor roll. And then, of course, Bethune-Cookman added him to their Hall of Fame in 2000. And then I have the one, and I think you had him, Trent. Did you have Trent?
Yes, I did.
So Pick covered Trent, so I don't have to cover Trent and why he's on my team. Okay, that's it for me.
Just offensive line. Got it.
I'm sorry.
Al's
doing his homework now. Who you got, Al?
All right, I have everything together now. All right. My tackles are Orlando Payson and Larry Allen.
Yes.
My guards are Zach Martin and Randall McDaniel. Jason Kelsey is my center.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike Dick is my tight end.
Okay.
Like I said, Ross, and Jerry Rice. I had Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin because I really had Moss was there, but like you said, he kind of split AFC, NFC, so I wasn't sure he would be my first choice. But if I had to do somebody who put more time in the NFC, I'm gonna go with the playmaker, of course.
Okay.
And then my QB is Roger the Dodger.
How many Cowboys is that?
I don't know.
That was like 5, 6.
I heard
7.
30.
You heard 30?
1, 2, 3.
It's 3. I can't be mad because I
The
got
playmaker is a backup role, so you might have heard that was 4. But the
4.
playmaker
Okay, so
really
I got 3. I got 3 I got 3 commanders on the offensive line by themselves. I got Russ Grimm, Trent Williams, Joe Jacoby.
I feel like y'all just so biased.
Wait a minute. I'm not biased. Now,
but you see, it's some good players. It's a lot of good players, and like Tom Brady was my quarterback. He's the AFC guy.
But that's AFC. That's
AFC.
Because he did
Aikman on there, but I thought y'all would be like too Cowboyish.
No, I wasn't even.
Roger was a great quarterback. I think in a better time.
I wasn't even upset if you would have said, Troy Aikman as your quarterback, because I would, like I told Luke, I went with Mike Vick and Drew Brees is my backup. Now, I got the second leading passer in NFL history as my backup in Drew Brees, right? Of course, Tom, I'm going to take him, right? But I mean, with this team that I put together, I want to see Mike Vick with a Super Bowl, and
he might win it with that squad.
With that right there, I think he can. I think Lefty won't have to do a whole bunch of things.
So let me ask y'all a question. Like, as far as NFC quarterback, y'all skipping over Joe for a reason?
I thought that one of you guys would put Joe Montana on y'all team.
I'll say Joe for me.
Okay.
I mean, you can't really dispute.
He is Tom Brady before Tom Brady, right?
Exactly.
He's who Tom Brady chased to become Tom Brady.
Yes,
correct.
Yeah. But
that's why I feel like Joe would be that guy.
I just can't put Joe there because I can't stand him because of the fights we had with my Cowboys. So,
my God, that again bias.
John has arrived. He said, "I arrived. What is Al wrong about tonight? Everything, John.
Everything. Al has been hating from the moment he showed his face on the screen.
That is so not true.
That's not true, Al.
Everything, John. So we just put together our NFC teams, and we're just hitting the little highlights. We haven't gone into basketball or anything like that just yet. We're about to go there soon. All right, but Lady A, I like the fact that you went a little deeper into your offensive line. I really, really like that fact. I stated that I know there are a bunch of great offensive linemen, that I missed, but I had to see your work. I can't say go top 10 offensive linemen and pick all the NFC guys. I don't know their body of work. I don't know who they had to battle against. What I do know is Joe Jacoby had to battle against Lawrence Taylor. I know Nate Newton had battles with Lawrence Taylor. I know Sean O'Hare was a teammate of Lawrence Taylor. I know Russ Grimm had battles with that great
you're a fan
defensive
of Taylor.
line. Right. I know that he literally yes, John, all-time NFC team, but I covered the ones that I've seen in my lifetime. Yes. So I know that Russ Grimm had battles with that Dallas defense to the point where in the NFC Championship game, they were telling Dallas and Randy White, "Hey, Randy, this is coming right at you," right?
I'm too young to know most of these guys.
Oh, my God.
So I went off of research and stats, accomplishments, accolades, and chose off of that. Like I said, I was mentioning Hall of Famers and people who had their jersey retired and, made an impact. So, some even from college into the pros. So they were consistent. Some people
Mm-hmm.
don't do so well in college and they get to the pros and they're outstanding, or sometimes it's the other way around. I wanted to go with someone who is consistent. So that's kind of where I was.
Consistency is the key.
Yes.
Consistency. You heard that, Al? That consistency.
I did, man.
Man, so with that being said, that consistency, y'all should know somebody that's going to be on my defensive side of the ball.
LT.
Based off of what you just said?
LT.
No, I'm going to say it again. You might be able to block me right now, but can you consistently block me?
That's what we know what you're saying.
That's not LT.
Oh,
That's somebody else. I'm going to give you a hint in the chat.
Minister of Defense.
I have a feeling I know who he's talking about because we talking about. See,
You ain't everything on, man. You better everything on Dexter, man. And you out your mind.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
First of all, don't discredit that man.
Are you kidding me?
Player.
I said, don't say that Dexter going to be on my defensive line. Are you?
Just don't have this. No, man, I'm about to say something mean. I'm not gonna be mean.
Just don't have him what?
I like Dex. I like Dex. So I bet.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't be mean because he was a good player. Don't do that.
Hey, Al, you know that was a person that people had the game plan for.
Yeah, don't really give him a game plan to read. You'll be good.
You know what, Al?
He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself.
And you need to go to timeout.
He couldn't help himself.
Right now.
He couldn't help himself.
Right now.
Dex, my man.
That man, he can read now, though.
Yeah, he can.
He's made. No, Dexter is a pleasant person to be around, man.
Just don't shake his hand.
What you mean? So.
Oh, he'll break your hand squeezing. That's for sure.
Yeah, and
I've met a lot of you. I've met Judge Jacoby several times. I've shook his hand several times. His hands like the size of my chest.
Because he understands greatness. He just pretend he don't.
I respect a lot of players that you all have had. I mean, like I said, I've had this conversation.
I'm about to stick my foot in my mouth, and I'm gonna ask this question, Al. Who do you have a problem with on my list? Let me ask that. I'm gonna go ahead.
Definitely Mike Vick. Even though I like Mike Vick, he's an all-time great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember the rest of your list. Trent Williams. I don't know if he's a great tackle. He's definitely in today's time, but there's a lot of guys. I could have went Willie Roaf. You could have went. Who else did I have on his backups? I think Lady A said one of the guys that was saying. Who was your one of your? Excuse me, lady. One of your tackles I thought was there. The guy from Seattle.
Because I said Walter Jones.
Walter Jones. Yes. I mean, Trent Williams is good. I mean, I can't. Russ Grimm. Come on, man. Really?
Are you kidding me? That's a Hall of Famer. Russ is a Hall of Famer.
Walter as a left tackle and Trent as a right tackle.
And see, this is what I'm talking about.
He said, "Okay, here's Johns." He said, "Okay, O-line."
And I hate. He gonna call my man Booger Sugar.
He just said the
quarterback Troy Aikman, wide receiver Santana, Art, Charlie Taylor, Gary Clark, Booger Sugar, aka Michael Irvins, running back John Riggins, and Gerald Riggs.
And you talking about me? That's not a fine.
First of all, he needs to go with the timeout. But yes, he is
John
very.
Just got put in timeout, and he got a fine.
John
He
Riggins,
is biased.
You are biased.
on the list.
I understand he's biased, but see, Al, here's the thing: you're on screen, and so everyone sees you, and you're supposed to not be biased.
I try.
All right.
But you, even with my bias, my list has validity.
My list is pretty valid too.
Okay, so you have a problem with my list, Trent? Because I have Walter on there as well. So
yeah, Trent on your list too.
I just said I had Walter Jones as left tackle.
I'm not opposed to Trent being there because I think when it's all said and done, he'll be one of the best left tackles of this era. So I don't have a problem with it.
I do have a question about your list.
Yes,
you got not your list, Lady A, Al's list. You got Kelsey on your list.
Yeah, that was strange.
That was because he's recently retired, but I mean, you feel like he's that like first ballot Hall of Famer type deal.
First ballot Hall of Fame. I mean, he has the Pro Bowls to back it up. He has the first team. He has the All Pros to back it up. He's been the dominant center for this era. And when I've watched more, and truly, honestly, I just couldn't remember a lot of centers that I would call all time. When I think of centers, he was the first one that came, and he had the credentials to kind of back up being an all-time center. He will be on anybody's all-decade team for
Yeah.
2020s and 2010s, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I agree
So,
with all decade.
I thought it was that. It's almost like you all's Trent Williams. He's more dominant in this era more recently,
Mhm.
but I think he could play in any era, and I think his credentials match up with anybody else that you would grab historically from it. And the best centers that come to mind are all AFC guys. Mike Webster.
Yeah. See,
Matt
you see
Clayman.
now you ran into my problem
You know
because
what I'm saying?
all of the
That's
centers,
what I think
man,
about. Bruce Matthews, like they're
all
AFC
those
guys.
Right.
AFC
So
guys.
you didn't answer my question. You have a problem with my
No,
offensive line or my QB?
Who are your running backs again?
No, I didn't put that. I just did offensive line because
Your
I
offensive lineman,
had to
I know.
research.
I was
for
impressed with your offensive line. Like I said, the Walter Jones one I did like because I had him. I had mentioned him. Like I said, him and Willie Rofe were on my list.
real. Okay.
But I ended up going with Randall McDaniels and Orlando Pace.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Now,
I just
Orlando
put out
Pace-
there. My
Orlando
center
Pace-
was Randy Cross. So
Not wrong, nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
think
but I mean,
but-
real talk. I was doing research and
yeah, you had to find.
yeah.
Like Kelsey was what kept coming to my mind. That's
Yeah.
what I went with Kelsey because I mean,
Yeah.
even Randy Cross, when you say him, he's a good center, but I think Kelsey probably credential wise and probably maybe a better player because Kelsey has 2 rings, right? He
Yeah.
has 2 rings, yeah. I mean,
Right, but at the same time, you got to keep in mind that's a whole different era.
different era.
Oh my
different.
God. With Kelsey consistently lined up in the neutral zone in every era like they did the tush push.
Well, if they did a tush push back in the day when they was clawing and biting and stealing, doing that stuff underneath them piles, he might have broken.
The quarterbacks wouldn't have made it. The quarterbacks would not have made it
them either.
doing the tush push.
The
No.
center is really on. He's on
Yeah.
display. Like he has the heat on him, and that's why
yeah.
I was saying it's a different era
Mhm.
as far as Kelsey and versus Randy Cross. It's a whole different era, and essentially the game has changed since Randy Cross has come in. I mean, the game changes every year, obviously, but
Right.
it I feel like it's just it depends on the era to say who's the better one.
Now here's the one thing that I'm going to put out here. Any running backs list that doesn't have Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith on it, I'm gonna throw that list out.
I
mean,
Even if you have Eric Dickerson,
has been around.
I left Eric Dickerson off. I
He
did.
should be left
because-
off if you compare those
But
three.
I left Eric Dickerson off. I mean, he's a really great NFL running back.
all-time great.
Right. He absolutely is. But I left him off. You know, I wanted to leave some meat on the bones for other people. That's why I gave you Barry and Walter.
But but truthfully to what you're saying, Pick, he's not in the same. If you do tiers of running back, all-time great tiers.
Yeah.
The top tier, you have your Barry, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith.
We can't. There's one that we can't even say because he's on the AFC side.
Yeah, I'm talking about NFC guys. I mean,
Okay.
you got Gil Sayers, but he's not top tier to me. He's an all-time great, but his career was shortened,
Right.
of course. Yeah, I mean, I think the top tier is that Emmitt, Barry, Walter. That's the top. I think that's the top 3 all-time leading rushers as well.
Yeah.
So what about, because real talk in my research, I mean, I didn't do my running backs, but I have to give credit to Philip Lindsay. He never fumbled the ball as a running back.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm not saying that he's on the all-time list, but
Okay,
that's a
okay.
feat.
Oh,
That he's the only
that's
person who ever did that. And so I feel like as we're choosing, you also have to kind of look at that too. I'm not saying him, but everyone. Like, how often are you fumbling?
Yeah.
When you're comparing people to put on your list. So
I do appreciate that fact too, because I mean, first off, we talking about Barry. Let's talk about Barry and Walter. Walter was a defensive running back. He wasn't taking the punishment. He was dishing it out. Barry was one that you couldn't tackle. Emmitt never had the breakaway speed, but he knew how to use his speed and preserve his body at the end.
And his greatest asset was his feet
And his quickness.
quickness in space.
Yes.
These 2 things. He did that at Florida. He displayed that at Florida. He displayed it with the Cowboys or throughout his career. Even when his last couple of years in those Arizona years, he still had his quickness in space. Of course, he was just there to get the yards. of course, to be the all-time record or pad that all-time.
He holds 2 all-time records. Emmett does. So that's another factor. Like he has records that nobody has broken. He's been out of the
Mhm.
league
Emmett
for a
gives
while.
all the credit to his offensive lineman as he should.
Yes.
But I think the problem with that, I believe, is people discount him because of the great offensive line he had.
You can't.
I feel like they don't. I don't
I'm
think
saying-
they do.
I don't think so either.
I don't mean I say
Emmett
that
still
because
comes
I
up
think
in the
they
conversation.
do, but when it goes to all-time running backs, Emmett's even though he's the all-time leading rusher, Barry's always mentioned before him. Of course, Walter's always been mentioned before him, and people mention a lot of different running backs before they mention Emmett without giving him credit. Because the old adage used to be, if you gave Barry Emmett's line, what would Barry have run for? Now, let me say this: Barry had a quality offensive line, wasn't as good as Emmett's, of course, but Barry created a lot of his runs
Yep.
and a lot of his problem runs with a lot of his cutbacks and things and cutting back and always changing direction and going back and things along those lines. So
He kind of had to do that though.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, if the run is designed to go to the left and the left tackle got beat, and you looking right at the,
Then you got to change direction.
you got to go the other way.
Barry Sanders' instincts as a running back, that's blasphemy to me. So I would never do that. So I'm just saying, though, he created situations, is good and bad.
By not going north and south.
Exactly.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you. Now, this was
Riggins, kick rock.
this was our NFC all offensive team, right? On next Tuesday, we'll be doing our NFC all defensive teams. So do your homework, get your stuff ready. I don't know, should we say we're doing a 4-3 defense or 3-4 defense?
Your choice.
I might pull out the 46 zone. So
just make sure it makes sense. You can have a 7-1 if you want.
How about we do what we feel is best as far as who we plugging in.
Okay, I got you.
And then so you might do one thing, we might do something else, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll be make it interesting, and we can kind of cover everything.
I got you. I
think we're going to have some very similar choices in some positions.
Oh yes, because I know there's another person.
LT.
I mean that. I feel like that's going to be clear.
That and then also what's his name? Minister of Defense. Come on, he's going to be who are you going to put the defensive end over him? Aaron Donald. I think it's a no-brainer to me.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, you know, like
what about that number right there? What about that number?
What number?
42.
Bonnie Lott.
I mean, he was on our other list that we had.
He was. Ronnie
Lott. But like I said, some people
can play in whatever era.
Yeah, but say then you have. I mean, there's Sean Taylor. I know Sean Taylor's going to make it for you because
you think 21 ain't going to make it, 36 ain't going to make it.
Career long enough, unfortunately, his career long enough to be an all-time great with other because there are some all-time great safeties in the NFC as well.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be really good. Okay, so listen, the NBA championship, and we're going on our second hour, and Lady A is ready to fight me.
It's 10:45. Good Lord, man.
It is. The NBA championship took place on Sunday with the best words in sports called Game 7, right?
So
and
disappointed in that.
It started off so well.
Yes.
And then it happened.
I stopped watching for
What happened, Pick? Tell us what it is.
Halabuckets had his ACL pop. You know, right after
ACL.
Hate to see it.
Achilles.
I'm sorry. He had his Achilles pop. Had that Achilles pop. He came in with a strained calf muscle, and you saw right away. I mean, you saw the replay. You saw it. Look, the ricochet right up his right calf.
Yep.
That's that rubber band.
That's that pain.
That's that rubber band.
It doesn't hurt. You believe it? Thing is, I popped my Achilles the same way they did it. All it feels like is someone kicking you, and you be looking around like someone kicking you.
I don't want nobody to kick me.
Right.
It's almost like somebody's tripping.
I was like, it's not that bad.
You feel like someone's tripping you. It's not a pain like you think like an excruciating bone breaking or.
You're saying it's more uncomfortable than pain.
No, it's when it happens, you know it. You say, "Doggone, that wasn't right."
You know your body.
You say, "Oh, that wasn't right." Then because I walk like Kobe did. Kobe shot free throws with a torn Achilles. Remember when he tore his Achilles? Walk the free throw line. You can still walk. You just can't push off. And that was the thing. And it's the weirdest thing in the world. It's agonizing recovery. The worst part about the turn Achilles is the recovery from it. Speaking from experience, but
it ain't look pretty.
No, it's not pretty. It's not. It feels like someone almost like you're getting a heart massage and a muscle release. But then it just pops, and you just like, but you don't have.
I don't want that kind of massage.
No.
Well, again, this was a different game at the beginning, right? The Pacers came out like, we're gonna give you everything you can handle, and you aren't ready for us. After what they did in Game 6 to get to the Game 7, you expected them to come out with their hair on fire, and OKC would then have to just weather the storm and get a couple of breaks to get their crowd back into the game. It did happen, and I put in the chat right there. I was like, this game is over. But we go to the second half. Second half of the game, halftime. The Pacers are up 1 at halftime. The third quarter is when this game really got out of hand. OKC's defense showed up. Their transition ball showed up.
Quarter defense was impressive.
Oh yes, their defense, their half court defense showed up. Their transition game just took off, and then their stars started to play. J-Dub, Williams, and SGA began to take over the game. SGA is named MVP.
Yep.
But my question to everybody is, were we robbed of what could have been a really good Game 7 due to an injury?
So I'm going to say this. In any sport, injury happens.
It does.
It is literally a part of the game.
Yes.
That's why we talk about, especially when we're talking about football, we're talking about depth, right?
Yep.
You're supposed to be prepared for that. If somebody goes down, you have to have someone that's close to, if not equally talented, to be able to step in. I don't feel like we were necessarily robbed. I think it's just a part of the game. I really, when they say, oh, the better team won, that's key. The better team, that means including your bench. That means your coaching staff. That means everyone.
Because coaching matters.
So it really is. It's not something like, had he not gotten injured, would it be different? I mean, yeah, probably, because he's a different person. But you got to just keep it real. I think that it's going to play out how it did. And truthfully, the better team, not the better player, but the better team won.
I agree with that. The better team for the season did win. But I'm always going to have that. I want to know how that game would have finished had he been able to finish. And I don't put an asterisk. I don't believe in those on the championship. Like you said, injuries are part of sports. I don't care what sport it is. And everyone, no one would have wished that on that kid, either from anyone in that building, anyone on either one of those sidelines. And it was sad to see in a Game 7.
Yeah.
That's what hurt me, because he was playing well. I mean, I think he had like 7, 8 points and 9 points in 11 minutes, whatever it was, 7 minutes, whatever it was. But he was playing well, and you could see he was locked in.
Yeah.
So this was going to be a game.
Yeah.
And I was just disappointed. I think, like I said, I did take nothing away from OKC. I was truly disappointed, because all I asked for, the only one, I don't know how to talk to you all, but everyone ever asked me who you want to win the series. I said I just want a Game 7.
Yeah.
Much basketball.
Well, you got what you wanted.
I got what I wanted, but then I get it, and then it's like I get that box, I get a present, ain't nothing in it. I'm like,
I know it was something in it. It just wasn't what you wanted.
Yeah,
wasn't what you expected.
I already got this sweater. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I just like I said, I was so disappointed and so hurt for the kid that he had to go out so early in the game. And I think, but kudos to the Indianapolis coaching staff for keeping those, and the players for keeping their head about themselves and fighting like they did. They took a lead to that second half. I mean, and like I said, so that was impressive in of itself. But that stifling defense that OKC had shown all year showed true, and they got back to their roots.
So I had talked to Doc. I think it was Sunday. I talked to Doc on Sunday, and we had a good conversation. I told Doc, I said, this game 7 is going to be incredible because at this point in time, you had Tariq Hallibuckets who had been written off by his co-workers, his peers, right? They said he was the most overrated player. But my man also carried his team the year before to the west. I'm sorry, the east side of the championship for Indianapolis or for Indy when he got hurt. He goes to the Olympics. He doesn't get any minutes, but he's part of that team. And that was a really, really good team, but his peers still called him the most overrated player. These are your peers.
I'm gonna say something about that pick. I heard I'm kind of piggyback off something I heard on the radio earlier that triggered something in my mind. The way he went out though, it's almost like a hero story. It did more for his rep, playing, getting hurt, and combined with how he played this whole postseason.
Mm-hmm.
To erase that whole overrated by his peers. I guarantee you he'll never appear on that list again, just from the almost like the street cred that he got from this postseason and how he played this postseason as a cold gangster. He was a high gunman in those games, and he ain't missed much. So he gained the respect and the admiration, I think, from the audience watching the game and from his fellow peers who had voted him as overrated. So I think in hindsight, it helped him getting hurt almost the way he did and going out how he did, like on the sword.
I still would have rather see him finish the game, however that game may have gone. But on the other side of this conversation with Doc, I was telling him, I said, Doc, both of these cities have a lot to be proud about.
Absolutely.
For OKC, you had the MVP, right? You got the scoring champ. You have the who could possibly win a Finals MVP and an NBA championship in the same season, and there were only 3 other players to do this before him.
Yep.
Shaq, Michael Jordan did it 4 times. And then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, at that point in time known as Lou Alcindor, right? So to join that company is ridiculous by itself, right? There's no LeBron James on that. There's no Kobe Bryant on that list.
No Steph Curry.
There's no Steph Curry on that list, right? So both of these cities had a lot to be proud about. Like I said, of course, we all just wanted to see this game go down to the fourth quarter to see these 2 superstars.
Even if they go to the fourth quarter, I just wanted to see him finish the game. So I can say beat him soundly with him on the floor. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
I don't think it was going to be a beating. I'm telling you.
I mean, what I'm saying, I'm not saying it's going to be. If you're going to win it, whether it's a close game or a 20-point beatdown, beat him with all their guys on the floor.
Yeah.
With the best players on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. And OKC. Absolutely, Lady A, I don't know what you thought about this, but OKC, to me, they showed a lot of class when they won their championship game because they did say, of course, everyone says that team that we just played is one heck of a team. They have nothing to be ashamed about. But for them to acknowledge Hallibucket's injury and wish him well in their recovery during their moment showed a lot of class. What do you think, Lady A?
That's true. But you do see that quite often if you take a step back and look at it. When someone has a nasty injury, you'll see the other team, and that's whether they really mean it, whether it's showing class, whether it's a PR move. It's pretty standard to shout out that particular player. Like, I mean, when you had a player on the football field whose heart stopped and the entire NFL rallies behind him, that's showing, your camaraderie. That's being a good sport. So it's obviously the injury is not that serious, but it's still a nasty injury, something that he's going to have to come back from. I mean, you play basketball, you need your legs. So I commend them for doing that, but I do want to point out that it does tend to be standard. Could they have not done it? Sure, but it's pretty standard. And I really do think that if they didn't say anything, someone would have called them out on it. But it's tactful.
I got you. I got you. All right. I think we've covered everything. We got 2 hours and 10 minutes in here. We do appreciate you guys for hanging in there with us during our technical difficulties at the beginning of the show today.
Pick. Happy birthday, WNBA. They're 28 years old.
Thank you.
The WNBA is 28 years old. They started their inaugural season in 1997.
Y'all was in elementary school together, I see.
Who?
You in the WNBA.
Elementary school?
Yeah, elementary school, yeah.
I mean, I'm a little bit older. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You have a birthday coming up this week, right?
Yes, my birthday is on Thursday.
Almost birthday to you. And
Team Cancer. Yes. I was a Cancer too, guys. That's probably why we fuss.
Y'all are sick. Y'all are sick people.
How we sick?
My dad's birthday is Saturday.
Cancers are lovable. So happy! My dad's birthday is on Friday, so I don't know if I ever.
My mom's birthday is on Monday.
My mom's birthday is on July 17th, so she's a Cancer too.
2 days before me, and my mom's 2 days. See,
you see, it's good to have all these Cancers because we're loving people. We go with the flow. Water sign.
We give honest opinions.
You said what?
We get
No.
Okay, with that being said, shout out to my son, United States Air Force, First Street Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Y'all know if Sid was here, what he gonna say, and I'm gonna say, raise hell.
How about him?
No how.
It's wartime, baby. This what you signed up for. This what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all gotta go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace them up, it's the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. 'Cause it's time for the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. Lace them up, it's the First String Podcast Show. Spitting facts on the First String Podcast. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting line, the first string is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cast. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Said from the South, so he rep GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe, go ahead and tune in. Like, subscribe, recommend to a friend. Nah, for real, like, subscribe, and recommend this to a friend. Hey.